Alright lads, so we are currently halfway through the month, and with that we have a new set of inherited trial quests to go against. Within this video we are breaking down the enemies, the best things to avoid, and some of the better characters to use to make sure you get the most out of your time when filing for your super link swap potions. And as always, if you lads are enjoying this type of content, make sure you do show support by liking the video. It does mean a lot and it definitely is appreciated. So before we do talk about some of the best characters you can use, firstly let's look at the quest details, the first one being the entry requirements. Of course, as always with every IT quest, you have to bring a character that has 15 or more link slot levels. That essentially means 15 across the board, so 555, 10, 5, 7, 7, 1. Either way, just make sure that if you are bringing a character, they are link sorted. Personally, I recommend your character be in T10 before you do decide to bring him into IT. And as always, for the enemies this time round, as always, they have the Iron Skin ability, which does mean that they do take less damage unless you inflict them with status summon. So it's really encouraged here that you can bring characters that do inflict status summons to make sure you can get around this Iron Skin ability. Having said that though, it's not required. You can just bring a character without any status summons, and as long as they hit hard enough, as long as you transcended or worked on the character, you should be fine, especially with 3 other teammates doing constant damage at the same time. And the enemy affiliation this time around will be sorry bit enemies, so that means you are encouraged here to bring your character with the sorry bit kill ability. It isn't required, but it definitely is encouraged as you will be doing 60% more damage. Keep in mind, however, the enemies this time round will have the Captain Kill ability. So any Captain character you do bring into this quest will be taking significantly more damage, so do keep that in mind before you just get one shot by an enemy. In addition to that, the enemies this time round will also be immune to poison, so if you are bringing a character that can inflict status summons, make sure they can inflict a status summon other than poison and you'll be fine. And to be fair, it's not a big of a deal this time round because we don't really have that many good characters that can inflict poison to begin with. And then the last thing to keep in mind is that this entire stage does feature burn pulls. So bring a character that is naturally immune to burn, the one device link, or just know where to stand and not to get hit by the burn pulls. Because if you are bringing a character with full stam, you want to make sure you don't get hit by that. And with that said, now it's time to talk about some of the better characters you can use for this month in Inheritance Trials. And keep in mind that they are not ranked in order, we are just simply listing off some of the better characters you can use for each attribute. Aaroniero is a character that you would pretty much bring into any IT quest regardless of killer. Luckily this time around though, he does actually have kill advantage as he does have a sorry per killer. The great thing about this character, he has great strong attacks, massive damage output thanks to his 60% berserker, and then he also has complete stats immunity, therefore meaning he is immune to burn, which is great for confidence as you can just stand anywhere in the map, not having to worry about just going through a path because you want to avoid the burn pulls. This is a character that you're going to see a lot and it's pretty much the easiest one to use, so if you have him, definitely use him. Aaroniero is pretty much a sleeper pick, someone that you're not going to see all too much, but definitely is someone that will be useful in this particular quest. The reason for that is because he is a character with the sorry per kill ability, he does have a pretty good damage output thanks to his 40% berserker, and he himself does actually have a chance to inflict weakening every 5 seconds at a 12% chance. That's great for just inflicting status summons for you to therefore do more damage. In addition to that, he also does have a 50% chance to dodge any sorry per enemy attack, which pretty much just helps out with his survivability. Another great character, just like the other two, is going to be the movie Kusaka. He again once more has a sorry per killer, he isn't a captain, and he also has very good strike types with a pretty good damage output thanks to a 20% berserker. He also does significantly more damage when you do inflict status summons, especially for his team as he does have the unique ability to give your technique attribute sorrypers 20% more damage when hitting an enemy that has been inflicted by a status summon. And while you might not notice it for normal enemies, when you are going against the bosses, especially if you are a character that can't just nuke the entire boss, having that extra bit of damage will go a long way, and it's just great to have one Kusaka in your team. Now, the Beyond Bankai Retsu is kind of an exception to the rule, as she doesn't actually have a sorry per killer, and she herself is a captain that isn't immune to burn. Beyond Bankai Retsu is a character that unfortunately is a captain herself, so she is going to be taking more damage, and she herself doesn't actually have sorry per killer, so she is also doing less damage. Having said that though, I still want to include her thanks to the fact that she has a massive damage output, and she is the hardest hitting character in the game, and then she also has a very good SA3 to heal your team and yourself by 40% just by charging it. It's really good, especially for those that need that extra bit of healing capabilities. And she herself also can inflict status summons and has a very easy time doing it, so Retsu, even with the fact that she doesn't have killer and the fact that she's taking more damage, she's still definitely worth bringing. And then for those that were lucky enough to pull the new character today, we have the new Fierce Battle Renji. Massive damage output, very good strike attacks, and most importantly, he himself does have the transform mechanic, which not only further pushes the damage output he can dish out, it also increases the chance for him to inflict a status summon against any enemy he goes against, which is great for just general IT content. Lastly though, he does have a captain killer, so while he isn't the best character for the normal enemies, whenever the bosses do spawn in, just know this character is going to be hitting like a massive truck. Christmas Nini is pretty much one of your best characters for the specific IT quest, and the reason for that is because she herself has Frenzy +2, so she does have more hits, therefore more chances to inflict a status summon, and she also does have the skill to increase the chance of inflicting status summon against Mind Attribute Soripers, which is great because this quest does have Soriper enemies. In addition to that, she also does have a chance to inflict weakening every 5 seconds, so for Ninis in lobby, you are basically going to be inflicting non-stop weakening, which again is important for Inheritance Trials as you will be negating the Iron Skin ability. But the main thing about this character is that she herself does have the Super Link Swap Potion skill, and that means just by having it in your lobby, you're getting 5 additional pots. So unfortunately, that means most rooms out there are pretty much only going to be asking for Nini and no one else. But for those that don't have access to Christmas Nini, one of your best reliable characters is also going to be 6th Anniversary Aizen. And while he doesn't increase the drop rate for Super Link Swap Potions, he is still a very solid character and definitely worth bringing. And that's mainly due to his massive damage output and great crowd control just from his SA2 alone. He has great survivability, there's almost no reason not to use this character, especially if you are someone that doesn't have Nini. If you have Aizen, definitely bring him. Heartland Getsu is someone that you might want to bring if you are guaranteed to be paired up with an Aizen. That's mainly the whole thing about this character. He is the character that can do a lot of damage himself, as he does have a 40% strong attack damage increase and also extra damage to weakened enemies, and he is also immune to burn, so he doesn't have to worry about having the burn pulls on the floor. The main thing about this character, despite his lack of a Soriper killer, is to buff cows like 6th Anniversary Aizen, as he does provide them with a 20% strong damage buff to any heart attribute Soripers, and most importantly Aizen. And if you have an Aizen in your team, having ones that Getsu would also be great. Beyond Bankai Kisuke is going to be someone that's also very good in this quest, as he once more has a massive damage output thanks to his status element Spiritual Pressure Boost plus 80%, where just by inflicting a status element you get a massive buff to your SP. The great thing about this Kisuke is that he has a very easy time inflicting status elements thanks to his SA2, he has great crowd control, great survivability due to the fact he is immune to every status element possible, and also 20% stun recovery every time you've been to a new room. This Kisuke is pretty much going to be someone that you want to have in your team, as it's just going to make this IT significantly easier, and you might even be able to auto with this character. Who knows? I'm going to definitely test it later on. Bruno is going to be another great power character to bring, as he once more also does have a Soriper killer, and he himself isn't actually a captain character, so he doesn't have to worry about taking any increased damage. And while Bruno might not be immune to burn, he has very good strong attacks just to make going through this specific IT very, very easy. The great thing about Bruno though, for those that do care about survivability, is that one, he does have last ditch, so if you do die, you can then just revive, and he also does have a 50% chance to dodge any Soriper attacks. So Bruno having a great damage output, good strong attacks, and some survivability just makes him one of the better characters to use for this specific IT quest. And if you are someone that did pull on the end of year banner, having this Ikone will make any team even better. As the main thing about this character is that he has great strong attacks, good damage output, but most importantly he does have an increased chance to inflict a status summon against Technique Attribute Soripers, which is all the enemies that you go against. So good damage output, great strong attacks, and the increased chance to inflict a status summon, there's no reason not to bring him. 5th Anniversary Ichigo, despite the fact that he does lack a Soriper killer, is still someone that is definitely worth bringing, especially for those that do have any investment into this character when it comes to link slots or transcendence. And the main reason for this is due to the fact that he has very good strong attacks, a 60% berserker, and also weakening on all of his attacks. His SA3, most importantly though, has a massive damage output, meaning if you are someone that is hosting your own lobby, choosing Ichigo as your lead isn't going to be the worst thing to do, as you can clear content a lot faster thanks to the fact that his SA3 can clear multiple waves. Redux now is going to be your support character for the attribute, and while she herself can do a lot of damage thanks to her 60% berserker, her main use here is to provide the team with a boost thanks to her SA2, a shield on her Soul Bomb, and most importantly a 20% strong attack damage increase to your power attribute Soripers, most importantly beyond Bankai Kisuke and 5th Anniversary Ichigo. Having 3 Kisukes in one team and also a Redux now is probably going to be the best team you can create for this specific attribute, and it's all thanks to the power that this now can bring as a very good support. While Swimsuit Retsu might not be the most optimal character for this quest, thanks to the fact that she is a captain character, she is definitely someone that is worth bringing if you know what to do. And the main reason for this is the fact that she herself does have weakening over attacks, has good strong attacks, 20% berserker, and most importantly, she herself has a team heal on her SA3, providing that good survivability for your entire team if you are someone that might die a lot, or if you're in a team that might die a lot, having that free team heal when you do use it against a boss is always going to be useful. And one of your better picks for this specific attribute is going to be someone like the speed movie Aaroniero. And the major reason for that is because she does have one good strike attacks, good damage output with a 20% berserker, but most importantly, she herself also has the skill increased stat summon chance against power attribute Soripers. So if you are someone that has this character, she's definitely going to be good, as she is going to have an easier time inflicting stat summons compared to any other character in this attribute. In addition to that, she is also immune to burn, so she is literally going to have the easiest time in this quest. Increased chance to inflict stat summons, good damage output, good strike attacks, immune to burn. Yeah, she's definitely one of your better characters for this attribute. 5th Anniversary Byakuya is someone that I didn't really want to put in this list, but the main point about this character is that he does have a good damage output with his 40% Berserker, great crowd control thanks to his SA2, and he is a somewhat common character. Most people out there will have this character 5-5, and you can bring other characters to support him to make sure he does even more damage. Having said that though, he doesn't inflict any stat summons, he isn't immune to burn, and he himself is a captain character, so he is going to be taking more damage. So personally, I would say try to avoid bringing someone like Byakuya, but he definitely is worth bringing if he's your only good option. If you only invested in his character, he's not the worst option out there, but also at the same time, he's also pretty much one of the better ones too. Speed attribute doesn't have that many great characters. And speaking of characters that can buff Byakuya, we have the 1000-year Blood War Tenjiro. Now Tenjiro is going to be a character that can dish out a lot of damage thanks to his 40% strike attack damage increase, but 20% of that strike attack damage increase also goes to your entire team. As if you are a speed attribute Soriper, Tenjiro will be buffing your strike attack damage by 20%. So not only can Tenjiro do a lot of damage himself, he's also buffing your entire team and increasing their survivability thanks to his Soul Bomb revive effect, which will just keep your team alive if they do die after the Soul Bomb is used. Very good support character, while at the same time being a very good damage output character. And then the last speed character to talk about is going to be the Christmas Noel. Just like Nini, Noel comes with the +5 super links or potions for the power attribute, which means even though I listed off some great characters to use, mostly everyone in this case is only going to be asking for Noel. Now for this current IT session, Noel isn't the most optimal character thanks to the fact that she doesn't even have killer, and she has been designed to always have killer and always need killer, as she does have the increased chance of stat summon. Having said that though, she's still definitely someone that is kind of worth bringing thanks to the damage output that she can dish out, and also just most importantly, it's the super link slot skill. You're getting extra drops just by using Noel. Even though the characters I just listed off are great characters to bring, mostly everyone's just only going to be asking for this character. So if you have Noel, you're pretty much forced to bring her. 1000-year Blood War 10 years later version of Ichigo is going to be one of your better characters for the main attribute, as he himself is a massive damage powerhouse, as he does have a 60% Berserker, Soriper Killer, and also Captain Killer, so he's doing more damage to the bosses that do spawn. In addition to that too, he also has a team boost effect on his SA2, which is further increasing the damage output for himself and his entire team, which is overall great. Unfortunately, he doesn't inflict any stat summons, but having said that, I think his damage output and support that he brings to the team is definitely still worth mentioning, and in my opinion, definitely one of the better characters to bring for this specific attribute. The Calm for Your Own Worlds version of Saruchi is pretty much going to be your underrated pick of this entire attribute. While she is great for this specific IT quest, you're probably not going to see her used all too much because no one really even uses this character. I've never seen her used once, but having said that, she is still a great character. Good strike attacks, even with the fact that she does lack Havoc, has the Soriper Killer, decent damage output with her 20% Berserker, extra 40% damage to any lacerated enemies, which she can inflict, and most importantly, just like Aaroniero for the speed attribute, she has an increased chance to inflict her stat summon against her attribute Soripers, making it so you're going to have an easier time when just using this one character. She's a great option, but you're probably just not going to see her use that much. But if you have her, you know, she's not the worst character to use. And just like Saruchi, we have another very similar character in the form of Orient Society Nereo. Nereo has a double lunge strong attack, a pretty good SA3 for inflicting a stat summon, is immune to burn, and most importantly, just like Saruchi, she herself also has an increased chance to inflict a stat summon against her attribute Soripers. So these two characters, Saruchi and also Nereo, while they don't have the best strong attacks, while they aren't the best characters for normal content, this is where those two characters shine in this specific IT quest. So if you want to use the character that you never really used before, this is probably the only time to really use them to get the best out of them. And most importantly, this Nereo, as she herself is actually immune to burn. Very similar to Daddy Ichigo that we talked about earlier in this list, we also have the Mind version of Noelle, the Burn the Witch version. In this case, she's just a very strong, powerful character. She herself has a sword per killer, she has an 80% berserker with the built-in recharge. Overall, she's just a very good character. She herself doesn't inflict any stats damage, which definitely is the most lackluster part about her when it comes to just using her in IT, but she hits hard enough that if you invest into her character, transcend her a little bit, get her to T20 maybe, then she performs perfectly fine for this IT quest. Just like Daddy Ichigo, her and Daddy Ichigo are pretty much your two powerhouse characters that can clear IT regardless of even inflicting stat summons. So again, once more, just a very powerful character. And last but not least, we have the Beyond Bankai version of Shunsui. And while yes, it is true that he himself is a captain, if you know what you're doing to make sure that you never get hit, it's not that big of a deal. He himself has a sword per killer with weakening and everything, great crowd control in his SA2, which further increases the chance for him to flick stat summons, as it does have a lot of hits in that SA2. He also has a 40% berserker, very good SA3 for just doing a lot of damage from multiple ways with his charged strong attack, and overall just a very solid character for this specific attribute. Definitely worth bringing if you do have him, especially if you are someone that has worked on him in the past. That said, lads, that was the breakdown for every good character that I think is definitely worth bringing. Of course, I didn't mention every character in the game. I might have missed some characters, but these are the ones that stood out for me. If you have them, I definitely recommend investing into them and using them for this specific IT quest. If you lack all these characters, then just use your best option. At the end of the day, if you have a character transcended, even if they weren't even mentioned on this list, they're definitely still worth bringing, as they just do significantly more damage compared to a 1 out of 5 character. And most importantly, at the end of the day, minus the speed and heart attribute, you can basically bring whoever you want. So just have fun, enjoy your time playing this game, and don't stress about how low the drop rates unfortunately are. That said, hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I see you guys next time. Peace.